Hi guys, how are you doing? I want to kind of go over BackAgent and inputting a transaction into BackAgent. It's pretty easy, but I want to go through the process. That way you know how to input a transaction. And it's going to be the same whether it's a listing, a buyer, a sell, or a lease, or a referral, or an apartment. The system will automatically guide you to the next steps that you need to do. So in this case, I'm going to do a listing that we have. So here's your main screen of BackAgent. You want to make sure that you go to transaction, and you're going to hit add new transaction. You can select an associate if you're a admin for somebody, but in this case, you usually just leave it yourself. And if you were a referral only, you would select that. If it was an apartment, you would do that. Residential means if it's going to be a lease, a sell, a seller, a buyer, anything you want to do residential. And in this case, we have a listing that's for sale. And it's going to give you options. Are you in the start of the process? Did you just meet this person? Are you showing them properties? Do you have a contract at the moment? Where are you at? Typically, you don't want to pass the stage where you have a contract. You want to have them into the system before. And I'll explain when it comes to the calendar here in a second. But in this case, we're at the contract stage. And I represent the seller. And the seller is, I'm going to put myself right now. And you just fill all the information out as best you can. If you have a previous client and or a vendor or somebody that you're putting in, it'll automatically pop up here. But you want to make sure you complete everything that has an asterisk. So in this case, I'm going to hit my information that popped up. There you go. And so now you're going to hit create new transaction. And again, through the entire transaction, if you have a deal that's closing in 2 months, this is always going to be something you continually work at until you've gotten to a week or before closing where all your documents are in and you can submit it. But this is going to be something that you have throughout the entire time. But in the beginning, of course, we want to find the property. And it's pretty simple, guys. You want to go from left to right. You want to complete all these tabs. And the orange is telling you that you can't go to the next step until you get this completed. So you can't even submit the deal for your CDA and disbursements until you've completed this. So for property, I want to set the property. We actually have an advanced part where we can pull from MLS directly, which is nice, versus entering it in manually. So you want to go to search MLS. I like to do the street number versus the address, so I just hit street number. You want to pick what board you're on, so we're nitrous. And I just want to come here and get that listing ID. Copy that in there. There you go. I hit search, and it pulls right from MLS. The MLS ID number, pricing, listing agent, everything. Set new property. There you go. So now you see how that's kind of grayed out. And now we go to the next steps. So the buyer can be whoever the buyer's name is. We really don't have much information on the buyer except their name from the tax records that you put on the offer. And then you want to put the agent's name. I want to put, let's see, Luper Moreno. And then the title agent that we're using, that we had on the contract, was Sean Clemenson, with the title. And see, you want to make sure that you put all these in there because then they start to pop up. The more you use them, the more they just pop up, and it's easier for you to do the deals. And now it says good job, but you want to make sure that you put all vendors that you use. If you're using an inspector, home warranty, anything like that, you want to put them here. That way, if there's ever an issue in the next 5 years, we can come back here and say, okay, this was a vendor they used. They're having complaints, or they're threatening something, lawsuit, or something that wasn't done right on the contract or the inspection or the foundation. We have all the information here. So it makes it easy to protect ourselves. Like in this case, if we want to use an inspector, we use John Seal. There you go. He pops up because I've used them before. There you go. So just make sure you add all that there. If you have a coordinator, you put them here as well. And if you're working a deal with somebody else as a partner, make sure you add your partner here because on your CDA, you're able to pay them out. And I'll show you what I mean here. I'm going to add a partner. We'll use Cliff Graham. So now you see that, and I'll show you what that means at the end. So now contacts are done. So now we want to go to the dates. And guys, you get all the dates. You're going to get that from the contract. So the contract that you have that's executed, you're going to know all these dates here, and then even in the beginning, when did your listing agreement take effect? That took effect October 15th. There you go. It expires April 31st or 30th. This is not a company lead. So again, these are just multiple, answer questions that you're going to do, and it's going to take you to the next step. What type of property is this? This property is a 1 to 4 resale. What's owned? It's going to be a conventional resale. It's not a short sale. It's not a new construction. But if it is, you can select those here. Again, this is going to help create what documents you need. That way it can check you to make sure that you have everything right here. So conventional resale. Was a property built before 1978? No. Is it part of an association? No. It's not in a mud district either. It's not in the flood zone. Nobody else will get a referral from this. And the contract was executed today. Typically what I do is when I have a contract that's executed, I create an email, I send it to the clients. That way they have all the critical dates, and I go over a recap of the next steps, everything else, which I'll show you soon. But at the same time, I pull this up because I have all those dates already. This will give you the dates if you want to make sure you're calculating them right. The option period is 5 days. It tells you 1/1/2022. Again, this also goes onto your calendar that syncs to your phone to remind you on the 1st, hey, your option period ends at 5 o'clock. That way you can remember, do we have everything we need to have done? Did I submit everything? Are we good to go? It's just a nice reminder to have. Financing period deadline is 14 days, so it takes me to January the 10th. Survey is going to be provided by the seller, an existing one. They're giving us 12 days. The close date is going to be January 31st. The contracted sales price is $475. And it is going to be a conventional third party. And the amount they're putting down 5%, which means the amount being financed is going to be $451,250. There you go. See how all these are cleared out? Now we go to the next step, which is documents. But also I want to let you know this checklist is really good. So when you have the contract, it's asking you, did you do these things? And if you did, you select them off. It kind of just is a nice reminder. It's nothing that you have to do, but it's nice to have. When you first get the listing, did you add it to MLS? Did you add your photos? Did you contact the customer and get listing property information? I mean, it goes through everything. So this is just a nice checklist to go through the entire process. So we want to go here to documents. And we don't have a contract on this, but this is just for teaching purposes. So I want to make sure that you guys see how easy this is to do. If you have zip forms or if you have Dotloop, you just go there and get those documents that you need for this. So now that we're in the contract stage, I'm going to go here. I've already downloaded those on my computer. So go to required now, attach. You're going to upload. And again, it just pulls everything up. If you want to actually see what these documents are, if you don't know, you can click it and it pulls it up here so you can view it. But for now, we want to do the IBS, which is here. That's not it. There we go. Create document. And since I have all the other documents uploaded already, I want to save and add another. Again, these aren't the exact forms, guys, but I want to make sure that you see how easy it is once you have them downloaded to do. So if we did the listing agreement, you can scroll down, here it is, and select it, save and add another. Say I didn't upload the forms I needed and I still need to upload something, you can just hit up, attach another file, and bring that in. But here I have the listing, the seller's disclosure that I have here. I selected those. And say if I can't find it here and I just want to type it up, I can do seller. There you go. And it pulls up anything that has seller in it. So this is going to be the listing that's signed just by the seller's disclosure, just signed by the seller itself, and save and quit. So now I come back, I still need these documents. Fine, so then I just, again, do the same thing. You attach the form, upload the file. Again, I just want to let you know these aren't the exact forms that you need. A good thing is once you submit these for review, we're going to have the admin and myself check it to make sure all the documents are signed, executed, that you have the right documents. That way, you know, we're TREC compliant, everything is good to go. And then once we approve it, we'll send your CDA out to yourself and the title company. But this is just for teaching purposes. Again, if you want to see what the document is, you can click that. And actually, I do want to show you this. So when you're answering those questions, it kind of lets you know what documents you need for the questions you're answering. When I put that the agent Lupe, which is in our San Antonio office, was on here as the other agent, that shows that it's now an intermediary notice is needed. So see, that kind of helps you there, and it kind of tells you what you need. That was a third-party financing. Say that you got confused on what you had. Okay, you can save and quit, and it brings you back here. Okay, so now you need this. Just upload that form again. And I'm going to save and quit because I want to show you something else. If you are in the advanced plan and you do have .loop, you can always connect to .loop this way as well. You can create one. Or you can go back here, hit attach. And instead of hitting from your computer, you import from .loop. So import the files. And it's going to take you to your .loop account. That way you can pull all the documents you have from .loop straight here instead of having to download them and then upload them again. And the system's going a little slower now. Here we go. So it's telling you these are all the documents that you have. So you can go through them, or you can type it in and go through them. But say I go through here and I find the property that I need. Let's just do this one. And you click the folder. Let's see. And it shows you all the files that you would have. But I want to show you one that has a lot. So this is a referral. So anything that you have in those folders, it's going to show you exactly what you have. Let's say this is the one that I wanted. I could just hit attach. And again, these aren't the right forms, guys. I just want to show you again how easy it is to do. So now that I've done that, you see I don't have to download, upload anything. It automatically pulled it in. I save document. And now you're set. See, everything is grayed out. Again, this is just your checklist. Now that you have everything you need, say you don't have this yet, you're waiting to receive that from title. Now you're pretty much good to go. So now you're maybe a week and a half away from closing. You want to get your CDA submitted because title's asking you for it, and we're supposed to submit it to the office to review within 72 hours. So you want to hit, okay, let's submit this. Now it's telling you you're missing items. Well, here it doesn't show that you're missing anything, right? So show all items required now. You hit that, refreshed, and now it's telling you you have to answer this question. It's actually being held the 31st, and it's asking that because right now we're still in December when we're doing this video, so it's saying, why are you submitting it so soon? And that's why it's asking us this question. There you go. And now this highlights, so now you can submit it. You create the request, and then you're going to put how much is your commission amount per MLS or per your agreement if you're the seller. And if you're on whatever plan you're on, it's going to auto calculate that here. That way you don't have to do any math. What I will tell you though, if you have a partner that's helping you and you're paying them a percentage, you want to do that math and just type it here. Whatever the amount is they're getting, you type it in and it automatically recalculates everything. So it just, that way everyone's getting the amount they should have. And that's it. And then you want to scroll down. And there is something that's missing up here, but I want it to show you. So you're going to go here. You want to do table funding, which means that they're going to wire you the money instead of sending it to the office and then having us write you a check. So you hit create funding request. And it's telling you have to have a phone number with the title company in order to get it submitted. And another thing is if you want to send your wire information here, you can put all your information here. If there's any remarks that you have, you can list that here. That way admin or myself can review that and then submit that to title. So now that you've hit that, you're almost there. So now it's asking you to continue to the next step, and it's going to do a quick review. Did you submit the forms that you needed? Were they executed correctly? Was the MLS listing information correct? Was everything verified? So you want to answer these questions, and they should all be yes. And you don't want to just scroll through them. Make sure that you've actually read them and that you have verified all the documents that you need to. Because otherwise, when we review it, we'll send it back to you until it's right. So then that way we're track compliant and we're good to go to submit your CDA to the title company. After you've done that, it says allow up to 2 days. Submit your transaction. There you go. At this point, there's nothing else you have to do. It tells you you're in review. The admin or myself will review it. If everything is correct, we'll get the CDA out to you and into the title company. Or if there's something missing, we'll send that back to you to get corrected and then resubmit it. But as of right now, you're good to go. And then admin and myself will get notified that you've just done this. So we'll get to reviewing it within 2 days and you're set. And that's how you add a transaction. And again, guys, once you go to transaction, now you're going to see that here. The status is it's in review. You've submitted for the CDA request. This is your closing date. And all the dates that we went through in there are going to be actually in your calendar as well, synced to your phone to remind you. And that's how you add a transaction, guys. For any transaction, it's all going to be the same. You just different buttons if you're selecting a lease, referral, or buyer, or listing.